Okay, so just while we're waiting for the dough to finish fermenting, I'm going to show you a couple of pieces of kit that I find really useful. This one's a special linen cloth designed for proving shaped dough. So on the one surface of it, it's basically a linen cloth. On the one surface we've got a lot of flour, which has now become embedded in this cloth, a lot of it. And over time you find that the cloth takes on more and more flour and becomes great for putting shaped dough without it sticking. I mean, it sticks a little bit, but nothing much. And it's just a really good place because, for example, if you've got like well, you'll see later, if you've got a baguette or something like that, you can get hold of this and tip it off, ready for putting in the oven. So you've got the flexibility of being able to move the dough around, but you've got a place where it can rest and prove. So that's one really good piece of kit. Now when it comes to baking the pizza, there's a couple of things you'll need. This is sorry, I knocked the camera again. This is a pizza stone. Basically it's just a piece of granite. Now if you buy a pizza stone that's sold for this purpose, you could pay £30 or £40 and they'll typically be smaller than this. This is actually a granite cutting board, or chopping board, which I bought from Wilkinson's for £10. It's just a piece of polished granite. There's the underside, it's just rough. I had to take the little plastic feet off it, rubber feet. But basically it's a nice thick piece of granite. You need apparently to have dark granite, not light coloured granite, because I think the light coloured is less dense or something, it's more likely to crack. I've had no trouble with this, although it's actually a chopping board. I use this for my pizzas. Now, the reason, if you're cooking a pizza in a domestic oven, the reason you need a pizza stone is we're trying to emulate what happens in a pizza oven. So this gets really, really hot, and it enables the pizza to cook properly underneath instead of just on top. So that's one useful piece of kit. The other thing you need, let me just move this out of the way, it's really heavy. The other thing you need is something to act as a pizza peel. Now a peel is just something where you build the pizza and transfer it into the oven onto your stone. So the pizza peel ideally has to be the same size as your stone, more or less, you know, and it also needs to be flat, at least on three sides, without any kind of lip, and that's what this is. This is just a baking tray, really. I got it from Marks and Spencer's, this one, but again, if you buy a pizza peel, typically they might not be quite as big as this or as wide, but this really fits well into my oven. You know, it fits the oven well, so you're making the maximum use of the oven with this one, and also with the pizza stone. Anyway, we'll see them in use later on. Those are some useful bits of kit that I've got. Without these, you're not going to get really quite the same effect with your pizza. Okay then, so I've had my dough back out of the fridge now for, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour, something like that. Here it is, still quite soft. And what we're going to do now is shape this, not into the pizza, but into a disc, as if you were making a bread roll. But this is the first stage of making the pizza. We're just going to shape it. So here we go. Right, let me just think what I'm doing. I'm just going to put some flour there. Okay, and I'm going to get this dough out. It doesn't take much doing this because basically, you know, we've oiled the bowl, so it should come out relatively easily. Try not to squash the bubbles. You know, we want to preserve those bubbles as much as we can. So we're getting underneath that dough, and I'm going to quickly turn it out. There we are. So turn out the dough now. I'm just going to get my cloth in position to accept that dough. I'm going to put a little bit more flour onto this cloth, like that. And I'm just going to bring the sides of this dough in as if I was making a little bread roll. Just turn it over and leave it there for a minute or two. Just going to leave it for us, just literally a minute or two, just in that state, and then we'll come back. Okay then, so we're just going to get this dough now and shape it into a disc. I don't really want a load of flour on the worktop for this, so I need it to stick. So I'm just going to fold it underneath again, okay, just to create some surface tension on the top. I'm not over shaping this, I just want to do as little as possible. Now I'm going to get my hands like this. I don't want to squash it. I'm just going to put the edge of my hands on the worktop and just use a fairly gentle pressure and go round and round, so the bottom of it is sticking to the worktop a little bit, and the top of it we're creating some surface tension there, and that is fine. That's all we need to do. So now I'm just going to transfer it onto the cloth there, just like that. Get some of this excess flour out the way, turn that around, and now I'm going to just leave this for about an hour and 3/4, or an hour and a half, hour and 3/4, something like that, and then we're going to shape it into the pizza and top the pizza. Okay, so I'm going to put my glass bowl on top again just to stop it forming a crust, and just going to leave that now, and we'll be back later to make our pizza. Okay, so now we're about 1 hour before cooking. You can probably see my nice socks there in the reflection of my lovely clean oven. Well, it's clean on the outside anyway. So an hour before cooking, what I'm going to do now is switch this oven on to maximum. That's 250 Celsius, not on the fan setting, and I'm going to put this stone in about the middle of the oven. Here we are, so that's all ready now. Now don't forget to put that stone in about an hour before you want your pizza.